Hello, my name is Victor and you're with Revit Experiments. In the last video I talked about architects and salaries, and are architects underpaid, and what's the average payment for architects around the world, and how well off are architects in general. And I think we can all agree that in different parts of the world architects are paid compared uh, to the average salary in more or less the same ratio to the average salary, with probably, from what I have heard, Australia being the best place.
Well, there is actually no one best place for everybody. There are many factors included, but you can check out different statistics on the topic.
uh, to live as an architect, and it also has a great climate and animals that could kill you any time of the day. So yeah, I don't know if it's good or bad after all. If somebody from Australia is watching, please leave a comment and say what do you think about this. Anyway, I'm going to talk about my views on what can you do to get a better salary as an architect as of today, being end of May 2020. So, first thing, and I hate to say it, grow older. If you have someone who's 40 years old and someone who's 30, the guy or girl who's 40 would be paid more. And why is that? Of course, experience is the most important thing here, but it's not the only thing, because if you imagine like experience and skills, like imagine having both people, like one who's 35 and another one who's 40, and they have the same skills, and the one who's 40 is going to be paid more in most places around the world. And this is something, you're just viewed in a more serious way when you are older, even if you didn't have that experience. And that's something that I have noticed, like even when I was interviewed by some companies, I could feel that they felt that I have the experience needed, but still there was something a little bit off. So at some point they asked me, okay, but how old are you actually? And when I told them that I'm over 30, and they were like, oh, okay, he's old enough to be on that position. Which is a little bit stereotypical, but it's also understandable. I mean, yeah, you might have the same skills as someone older, but it is what it is. Like in most places, this is still a criteria. Even though it probably is not an official criteria when you look at that, but still, experience, skills. And yes, skills. This is really important. I personally believe that you, as a human being, not only as an architect, are better off improving your skills all the time throughout your life. But I don't want to enforce that personal opinion on you. But regarding architecture, yeah, skills are important. And what should these skills that you want to develop to have a better salary right now? Well, generally, those skills are a little bit different and they change in time, but they're all the same skill. They all break down to solving problems and how valuable are you for the company. So right now, on average, all these BIM people are paid more than just regular design or technical design architects or architectural technologists. And why is that? It's because this is what the market dictates. apparently those people are perceived as valuable for the companies, and if they provide value, they're being paid more. It's as simple as that. And I'm saying all these BIM people because we have all kinds of different BIM positions nowadays. I'm a BIM coordinator. There are in a company that doesn't have a BIM manager, so I'm also like a BIM manager, kind of overlapping those terms. And then if you're going to look on LinkedIn, you've got BIM architect, BIM engineer, BIM this, BIM that, and more of them actually refer to people who just know how to use Revit as BIM technologists, for example. It should be Revit technologists. Revit on itself, it is a valuable skill. Revit is used more and more. Even today it holds like a big chunk of the market of similar software. Autodesk have a strong lobby, so yeah, Revit is a valuable skill. And if you go on to, if you go that path, the path of BIM, I would recommend Revit. Navisworks for clash detection is still the standard. Dynamo is something that like nowadays they put in all the job requirements. It was like it's still not a requirement like for all the jobs, but in pretty much all the job offers that I checked to prepare for this video, I saw Dynamo as if not a requirement, at least a recommended skill. So that's actually how you can prepare your skills. You just go and see what companies are asking for, and you can see that BIM specialists are pretty much still more valuable at this moment. At some point, I guess this market could saturate a little bit. But something else that I'm noticing now is that, for example, a BIM coordinator with MEP is paid a lot more than a BIM coordinator with architecture. And why is that? Is MEP more valuable than architecture? Difficult to say, but what probably is happening is that there are less specialists who know both about BIM and about MEP and about Revit, of course. So that's why people who are looking for those specialists are willing to pay more to get a nice qualified specialist. So skills in the software that's appropriate to the path that you have chosen. Like if you have chosen to be a design architect, it's a bit more difficult because eventually you would need Revit. You need Revit for sure. You might want to go through learn Rhino as well, because Rhino is widely used for all kinds of like interesting shapes in architecture, and it's a really good program. But still there is a hunger still for Revit specialists. If you are inclined to coding, you might like keep up your coding skills. Coding is always a good skill to develop, I would say. I mean, computers are everywhere. The more you can do with a computer, something related to your work, of course, the more skills that are valuable you have. That said, those technical skills are not everything. But still, imagine a newly graduated student. Let's call him Mr. G. And that Mr. G is the best designer. Give him an opera house project and he would give you the best ever project. He would win a prize, and he is the best in that. But the way he portrays, the way he displays his ideas is with hand sketches, a little bit of SketchUp, and that's it. And then imagine Mr. V, who is newly graduated, but he took his spare time to develop skills in Revit. He's been using Dynamo quite a lot, and he quickly learned how to use Navisworks, for example. Who do you think is more employable? Because that's something that we can actually measure. We cannot measure who's a better architect, because what makes someone a better architect is a really big question, a really difficult question. I mean, everybody could create like organic shapes and everything, but this is not what makes those organic buildings good architecture. It's something else. It's being able to actually build them and make them usable. Even though you've always heard of leaking roofs and like some spatial problems with those buildings, so that's another topic on its own. I promise someday, well, probably when I'm old and my hair is gray, I'll do a video about that as well. But yeah, it's a different topic. But who do you think is more employable? The best designer with no technical skills, or the best technical guys with no design skills? And that's to like what I talked about a little bit in the last video. How valuable you think your skills as an architect are compared to someone who just knows the software. But as I said, those technical skills are not everything. So there is something else called soft skills. Pretty much, if you know how to talk, you can talk yourself through so many things. You can talk yourself out of so many things. And as you've noticed, I'm not a native English speaker. And for all of you who work with a language that's not your first language, you have to learn that language as good as possible. This will help you with everything. This will help you do your job. This will help you keep your job. This will help you make friends. This will help you have that pleasure from being able to fully express yourself in that language. And if you're not there yet, and I'm not there yet, just improve your language every day. I'm really interested in language, and I've learned different languages, and yet like you can hear my accent in English, which I'm trying to get rid of. You can hear that I don't use the most sophisticated words out there, and that's actually not something that you should do. I mean, it's usually better to actually use simple words, as long as you can convey your ideas, as long as you can communicate yourself. So, soft skills. Language is the first requirement to develop your soft skills, but then that's only the first requirement. You have to be likable. You have to be likable to get a job. You have to be likable to keep the job. What do I mean by that? First and foremost, don't be a jerk. Never be a jerk. So, how not to be a jerk? Everybody has ego. Just forget about your ego. It's not helpful. Sarcasm has its place. If you're a stand-up comedian, or with your friends outside, don't use sarcasm at work. It's just you're going to make someone angry, and then it's going to be a downfall. And when I say don't be a jerk, like often people who are shy, and you can be shy because you don't know the language enough, so you don't want to talk to people, or you can be just shy because you're shy. People who are shy can come out as being standoffish, because imagine someone who's shy just sitting on their desk, afraid to go for lunch with others for various reasons. Maybe they want to save money, or They just don't want to embarrass themselves if they're embarrassed by their accent or whatever it is, or they just, they just are not so social. Like, they just can come out as standoffish, and it's not an immediate problem, but eventually it's gonna be. Eventually, it's gonna be a problem in the work, because what happens if you get a task, and that actually happens quite a lot in different companies. You get a task, and to accomplish that task, at some point, you need to go to your colleague Michael and to work together, or to get some feedback from them. So what happens is that you just stay there and you put that off, because you don't like Michael and you're afraid of what he's going to say. And that could be, Michael could actually be a jerk. Michael might not have watched this video and could actually be a jerk. I mean, he could be your manager, and he could, just be pissed from something, and he can just behave badly, and that's out of your control. But in your control is that you should just not care about it on a personal level. You're there to work. Like, when you are at work, you work. You go there no matter what that guy's gonna say, and if he's going to say something that you don't like, you just shouldn't care about that, because it's not personal, it's just a dynamic of the job. And yeah, so these soft skills are really important to keep a job and to get better in your job, because you will learn from other people with more experience at your job. When you get better in that job, you can ask for more money, and being social, you will know when and how to ask your manager for more money. And also, you would probably have become like an actual friend with your manager. And I want to open a bracket here. I know that in many societies, your colleagues cannot be also your friends, and that's okay. But still, you have these friendship relationships that stay in your office. Even if you don't see each other outside of the office, there are still these friendly dynamics. Um, and then there's the other thing, like, you know, being a friend with your manager doesn't necessarily mean that you are like an. Doesn't necessarily mean you kiss their ass. It's just sometimes when you don't know how to behave in a group of people, and your manager is also not a jerk, then you can just work things together. You can become friends over time. So you know how to talk to them, how to grab opportunities that come, and most importantly, you will enjoy being in that office. You just like going to work. It's not going to be that nightmare every time you have to get up and you're like, I want to go there again. I hate that place so much. On the contrary, you're going to like it there, because you have these buddies around that you talk about, and you drink your coffee with, and uh, people are going to like you because of your social skills. So, social skills, soft skills, technical skills. This is being, mostly Revit, Dynamo, Navisworks, other software, and experience. This is what I think is eventually going to land you a better paid job, or help you grow in your company. And these things are all, like, except from the experience, which is just, time passing by while you are on the job. The other things are things that you can work on consciously. And yeah, I personally have developed so much in terms of soft skills. I know what a person I was 10 years ago, I know what a person I was 5 years ago, and what a person I am now. And I can tell you, you can definitely put effort on this and you can improve. And this is even more apparent for tech skills. Of course, you can learn. Everybody can learn if they put time and effort on this. And yes, this is what I wanted to tell you today. Tell me if you agree with me or if you don't. And since I want to know more about you as my viewer, please tell me in the comments which country are you watching from. By the way, I have to say that recently I released a course.
About that course, I really want the course to get only to the people who would benefit from it the most. So if you're not sure if the course is right for you, I can give you a free consultation and we can talk about what you can do in order to learn Dynamo, even if you don't want to get the course. So, how to get that free consultation? Go to my website, revitexperiments.com, and click here on services. And here you will see a form that you can fill in. It's just your name and your position and some questions. It's just 7 questions, just so I can know you in advance. Then I'll get back to you and we can schedule a call.
Udemy, and it's called Dynamo from Zero to Hero, and you can probably find a link to its description in the description of this video. So yeah, this is a really nice long 10-hour long course, complete course that is suitable for people who just start using Dynamo now, or for people who have some experience using Dynamo but think that they need improvement. It's a complete course that can get you out there in the field so you can solve and create Dynamo graphs from scratch, or you can understand and modify already created Dynamo graphs from others. I really do believe that this course is giving so much value, and till the end of May it is on promotion, but check its description, check its curriculum, and see for yourself if it is the thing for you or not. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.